You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Folks, the playoff season is here, and the only thing better than the game day predictions are the foods that come with them. Introducing Tums Fantasy Foodball Pool, brought to you by Tums, America's #1 antacid brand, and DraftKings. Each week leading up to the big game, turn football into foodball by building your best game day plate for a shot at winning a share of $40,000 in cash prizes. Inspired by game day bites and tailgate treats, join the Tums Foodball action during this playoff season's most heartburn-inducing times. Visit DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball between January 6th and February 9th to enter for free and select your game day plate before the start of each playoff round. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball. When you feel the heat of the game, don't let the heartburn keep you on the sidelines. Try Tums Chewy Bites with a tasty outer shell and soft center for fast relief of heartburn, acid indigestion, and upset stomach. Check out Tums Gummy Bites, featuring a soft and easy-to-chew format for fast relief of occasional heartburn, acid indigestion, sour stomach, and upset stomach. Both available at Amazon, Target, and other major retailers nationwide. And for more heartburn relief fun, be sure to follow Tums at Tums Official on Instagram and TikTok.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account, a friend paying you back, or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card, or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh cashback terms apply.
Roy!
So, David, how about some hockey today?
Hi, Rose.
Hi.
You're not Roy.
No, Roy, sorry.
Roy!
Has been demoted.
Roy's been demoted?
Yeah.
Where's Roy?
He's on the other side. Hey, Roy.
I don't understand how I'm able to be demoted considering I'm the goddamn executive producer of the show.
Apparently, Rose, what's the deal?
Apparently, I'm going to have to mute that part because you don't know how to produce. But,
What?
Hi, everybody. I am Rose. And here I have David from the Hockey News to my left. There I have Ethan Badowski. And there I have
Roy!
Oh, this is going to be fun
There
watching you try to
So,
do traffic here.
Yeah. So, as you know, we start with our hot takes. And today I want to give you my hot take because we just not only talk about hockey. So, I have a video of my hot take. I'm taking over the hockey show.
This is like that 70s show when they would like all get high in a circle and the Zoom. That's what that reminded me of right there.
What is your take, Rose? I don't understand what that was.
I am taking over the hockey.
Oh, I missed
hockey
it.
show.
She's
I thought you said that
taking
just
over.
now.
Look at Rose playing with the English language a little bit. I like it.
Oh.
How about that? Well, what is yours, Dave?
My win hot take. What am I doing?
No, your hot take.
My hot take. Okay, I've got two. My first one, players need to stop crashing into goalies, and defensemen need to stop helping players crash into goalies. It's happening all the time. I get you need to defend. I get you need to play hard, but you got to be aware of your goaltender, and you got to protect your goaltender. Stop.
Of course, biased. It was going to be a goaltending thing.
Thank you, Roy.
She's fitting right in. She's just like Roy, dude. She fits right in.
You're
But-
right.
This is plagiarism.
Rose, am I wrong? Am I wrong that defensemen are pushing guys into goal? Like, it's got to stop.
Well,
Is it gonna
David,
take a Jacob Markstrom going down for something to actually happen? Rose?
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do agree. But just goaltending, I was hoping you were going to say something barky.
And this is a big loss, David, just to touch on this Markstrom loss. He's probably going to miss the... He's probably going to miss the Four Nations. I don't know if we're going to be able to get any hockey analysis out today.
This is going to mess with his eligibility for the Vezina, which he was probably number 2 behind Connor Hellebuck.
I mean, Connor Hellebuck's going to run away with the Vezina this year. But yeah, Markstrom, I was listening to 32 Thoughts this morning, and Elliot Friedman was basically saying he's going to be out a minute, and it's probably going to throw off his Four Nations, which for Sweden, they're now down Markstrom. They're probably down Ullmark. So they're going to be on their third, fourth, fifth choice goalie possibly. And that could throw off their entire tournament. Like the Swedes have a solid team that could be really competitive, and all of a sudden injuries might get in their way here.
As far as defensemen pushing the opponent into their own goaltenders, that's something that they should actually teach you. Well, there's no checking in mites, but they should absolutely teach you that in mites. You don't do that to your own goaltender.
Right?
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Nope. And just to finish Ethan's thought, behind Markstrom and Ullmark, NHL goalies from Sweden, Anton Forsberg, Philip Gustafsson, Sam Ersson in Philly, JoJo, who everybody loves, a little Jonas Johansson. But yeah, it kind of falls off a cliff a little bit after the top end, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Freach was saying they're going to have to call Ersson, and then he made the joke of, getting Joey Decord to get some Swedish nationality.
My detective test determined that was a lie.
So now you're playing because Miami Carts now? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm trying to tell Ethan that was a lie.
Okay.
What's your hot take?
How do you know that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just guessing here. What's your hot take, Roy?
Thank you, Rose. My hot take is let's never lose this. In the Maple Leafs Blue Jackets game, we got ourselves an old school tilt. Look at this. This is Ryan Reeves. Finally,
this is the good stuff here.
Finally, getting into his first fight of the season. Finally.
Oh, yeah. Look at that right hand.
Look at it. This is against Matthew Olivier.
I love that. I love
Stays
how
up.
all of his extremities kind of went in a different direction there for a beat.
Ooh.
Yes.
But then,
love
like
these
true
swings.
pro,
Look at these swings
he
right
caught
here.
himself, and here comes the fun part, right? Where they just start wailing.
Oh, they wailed already.
Oh, did I miss the whales?
My hot take here is there's nothing more try-hard than not wearing a visor in 2024. Like, just put a visor on. We get it.
No,
You're
well,
tough.
that's mandated now. You have
What's a
to,
visor?
It's grandfathered in.
It's the shield that goes over your eyes, and it was mandated that everybody after 2013-14 has to wear one.
Yeah.
But there are certain guys that because they played a certain amount of games before a certain
if you were
date-
in the league before the rule was made, then you're kind of grandfathered in.
Correct.
It was like, we were talking about this before, like Craig McTavish back when Roy and I were growing up watching hockey. You guys probably have no idea. But he was like the only guy in the league for years that didn't wear a helmet. He had this big curly-haired thing, and like it must have been like 10 years maybe about that. He was like literally the only guy in the NHL that didn't wear a helmet.
Yeah, I think there's only 4 guys left that don't wear visors, and they're all just like, just do it, man.
I'm
Jamie
with you.
Benn,
I don't get it. Protect your eyes.
Get over yourself, Jamie
You
Benn.
guys have
Get over
hijacked my
yourself.
hot take. Like, legitimately hijacked the hot take.
No,
And you over here sitting in my
sucks
seat.
being on that side.
Yeah,
of the
Rose
podcast.
hijacked your seat,
That's-
man. Don't get mad at me.
That's today.
Bullshit, man.
today's
I'm
show
not
is-
done. I'm not done. And as much as people over the past 20 years had wanted to get fighting out of the game, you can't. You absolutely can't. Fighting is very much needed in this sport.
100%.
100%. They need this in the sport. So the sport can never really fully get rid of fighting. They can regulate it, but they
I
can't
don't even
really
want to
get-
think about a world where hockey tries to like take out fighting from hockey. Can you imagine like just the response?
Well, can you
generally from
imagine?
everybody?
Can you imagine
Like,
all the
terrible.
stick work? Because I mean, they're playing with dangerous objects out there. You get angry enough, you're gonna see some swings out there. That's why fighting is.
They need to let
there.
out that aggression, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I actually had a second hot take. Can we get back to that for a second?
Well, Rose has to direct traffic, so
I'm just
Rose,
asking.
she's the host today.
Yes. Go to your second hot take.
Okay, so the other night in Toronto was playing Columbus, and Columbus won, which was, nice. But so when a goalie loses their stick, generally, they are able to take a player's stick instead, if a goalie stick gets broken or whatever. So in this case, Columbus goaltender, is that Merzlikins, I think, lost their stick, picked up Austin Matthews, whose stick was on the ice for some reason, and then Matthews decides, well, bleep you, I'm going to take your goalie stick, and he tried to play with his goalie stick. My hot take is, why is this illegal? If the
Why
goalie,
is it illegal?
Why is it illegal?
Because it's interference.
If the
That's why it's
goalie
illegal.
drops his stick and can pick up a player's stick,
Did he get a penalty for this?
yes.
I didn't know that.
They
It's
both did,
interference.
actually.
Then it was a hot cake.
You're making yourself laugh over
All right,
there.
I'm
I
done.
don't understand what.
Let's-
I mean,
let-
you interrupted his take for that.
Let's move on.
You want to move on?
I'm sad now.
All right, host, please. Traffic.
What's next, Rose?
Next,
And turn on your mic.
it's our wins of the week, and I'm gonna start with Dave because we cut him off. What's your win of the week, Dave?
Okay, well, thank you. My win of the week, and I kind of dedicate it to Roy and to Ethan because you guys give me crap for crapping on the Sabres, but my win of the week is for UPL. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Buffalo's goalie, for making this ridiculous save on our buddy, little Conor Garland, as Buffalo won in Vancouver the other night. Buffalo is actually, since they went on that 13-game losing streak, they're actually above 500, which is interesting.
Amazing. That's amazing.
7-6-1. However, to be fair, they have lost 4 of 6 and 7 of 11, so they are still the Sabres. But some love for Buffalo, above 500 since the losing streak, and UPL with a pretty ridiculous save for a big win in Vancouver. Yes, Laughing Cow?
Yeah.
Turn your mic on.
Rose,
Leave your mic on.
Rose, try and say Uka Pekka Luukkonen.
Upa lakem mekalekanum.
Uka
You sound like
Pekka
Pekia
Luukkonen.
Lukemin.
Uka Pekka
Luukkonen.
Luukkonen. There you go.
you make it sound like a Polynesian
Nailed it.
chant.
No, it's not a Polynesian sand. I was trying to find words to talk to Maui, but I cannot find my button.
See, I know. Oh, okay, all right. Next.
Next. So, my win of the... No, Roy, we're going to go to you. So, what's your win of the week?
My win
Roy.
of the week. This has sound. My win of the week comes from
Roy.
Darren Pang experience.
Can't experience until you experience the experience in this league.
What?
Right. Well, it's just math. Clearly.
See, all it takes is experience and bullshit. So, come experience some of my bullshit. That's right. You can't experience until you experience the experience, because when you experience the experience, the only thing will be the experience of learning the experience. That will be experience. You are now experiencing the strength of hockey knowledge. Ethan?
I don't got anything, Roy. What do you need?
You don't have any experience.
That was
No,
harder than...
I'm getting there. I've got some
Your
experience.
trabalenguas was harder than upa ugabaluga.
My
Experience of experience.
Uka
Have an
Pekka
experience of
My
experience.
Congalingas? What are you talking about? What?
Trabalenguas. Find it in Spanish.
Uka
Why? We speak English on this.
Uka.
Uga kulawilla. So, my win of the week
You got one
goes
of the week. Okay, great.
to our girl. 22. Where's my video?
Why are we showing basketball?
22 turned 23 on the 22nd. You see, my trabalenguas was there. Look at her.
We're showing.
That's a nice assist.
We're
by-
showing WNBA.
Yeah,
basketball
WNBA
right
because
now.
that's my win of the week.
It's called the Hockey Show, not the Caitlin Clark Show.
Well,
Also, the WNBA season is
I
not started yet.
hijacked the thing, so it's the Rose saying happy birthday to Caitlin. Happy birthday, Caitlin. My win of the week.
I want you to look behind you at that screen. What does it say?
The Rosie Show.
Oh, man.
We need to make one, Rosie. We need to make a
Roy.
graphic, the Rosie Show.
Oh, and I won also the hot cake.
But you want a hot
You want a
cake?
hot cake?
Yeah, because
want a hot cake?
instead
You want
of a
pancakes?
hot cake. Okay, so there's no wins without loses. So
Losses.
Losses. Sorry.
Yeah, linguist. Yeah, whatever you said.
No hay ganancia sin pérdida.
I'm getting
Dame tu
uncomfortable.
pérdida.
English. Next. What?
HR is going to come for this.
We have HR?
I don't know, but all this talk about stuff, I don't. Rose is trying to find the button to push. Roy's talking about cunnilingus back there, and I'm just sitting here like, what? Can we just talk about hockey?
Hey, listen, I just repeated what I thought I heard.
David, what is your win of the week? Wait.
Fail of the
Fail
week.
of the week, sorry.
I think I'm living it right now. No, my fail of the week is not the Buffalo Sabres, Roy. It is it's the San Jose Sharks because they were winning 5-1 in Nashville the other night with like 7 minutes to go in the second period and lost in regulation.
It's not just that they lost in regulation. They were down 6-5 with 11 minutes left in the third period. So from 7 minutes in the second period, that's about 16 minutes of game time it took for them to go from up 5-1 to down 6-5.
I feel bad. Like, what do you do if you're a coach? As you got a big lead.
You just stand there.
But no, for your goaltender, because Georgiev just got pummeled, and they were pumping goal after goal after goal, but he's got the lead. But do you switch your goalie even though he's ahead and maybe try to give your team a boost because they're obviously getting shelled and the wave of the Predators is coming on top of them? And that whole sentence is something I'm not comfortable with. But the whole issue with the San Jose Sharks, don't stop laughing.
I can't.
The whole thing with the Sharks, like, I really thought for a minute, for a beat, that maybe they were turning things around. And then they traded Mackenzie Blackwood, and it's just been falling apart a little bit since. But that right there, that was rough.
Microphone, please.
Oof.
That's what you
Why do you
wanted to
keep
say.
turning your mic off?
Stop turning your mic off. You're not Dan. Stop that.
Oh, I'm not supposed to turn it off?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're in
So-
the host chair. Your mic is supposed to be on all
the time?
times
Oh.
during the segment.
Okay, beautiful. Don't give me a mic because if not, see what happens.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Nah, I'm loving it. So,
I'm loving it.
Roy,
Hot cake.
what's What's your fail of the week?
My fail of the week is coming from Auburn Jackeye. And we're getting back to fighting here. During the Maple Leafs Canadiens game last week, Montreal got out to a 3-0 lead, and Ryan Reeves wanted to fight. He wanted to get into a fight, and Auburn Jackeye, all he did was point at the scoreboard and then skid it away. And then later in the game, delivered a check on Ryan Reeves, and just insult to injury there. Laying the hit and not fighting is just that. I mean, that's not cool. Now there's an unwritten rule here, and I would like to get somebody like a Stu Grimson on the show. Stu Grimson right now is working for NHL Network, and he's a noted pugilist.
That's
like he knows what the fight game is about and what should happen in these situations. And we really should get him on. But
maybe he should have fought, though, because
he should have fought.
He was saying no. He's pointing to the scoreboard that they were up 3-0 at the time. What happened?
Roy missed the best part. Yeah, Roy missed the best part of all of this.
At the time, by the way, because
he's pointing to the scoreboard, and then they go on and lose 7-3.
Thank you, Ethan. That's why I was trying to get to.
You didn't get to it. I thought you were letting us get to it. I'm supposed
to be the host of the show, except I got kicked out of the goddamn studio by Rose.
Because the name of the show is Hijack. Royce gets hijacked.
Roy!
The Maple Leafs
karma, though.
The Maple Leafs came back to win 7-3.
That's karma.
Yeah,
fight your fights, Auburn Jackeye. You learned a lesson.
It doesn't end there because the very next game, the Canadiens played the Rangers, and Auburn Jackeye had zero problem fighting Matt Rempe. Now, as big as Rempe is, and this is technically a mismatch in size. I mean, this is a heavyweight tilt, but Rempe is tall and got some girth to him. Let's be honest, Rempe is not a good fighter.
Is he good at anything besides being big? Like, this is what I always say about Rempe. Like, his only thing is he's big. He's slow. He's not a great offensive player. We know he's a fourth-line guy. He hits people and gets suspended every time he hits somebody, and then he gets in a fight with Xhekaj, and he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, and this clearly means, to me, that Xhekaj ducked Ryan Reeves.
Well, and look what happened this time, though. He ducked Ryan Reeves, and they got dunked on. They lost 7-3. This time, he fights.
Fight your fights.
They're losing when he fights, and then they came back and won.
Fight your fights.
Fight your fights, and you'll win your games. Like, there's a lesson to be learned here.
Ryan Reeves was asked why Xhekaj ducked him in the Canadiens Maple Leafs game. This is what you have to say.
What was your perspective on how the interaction with Xhekaj played out on Saturday?
Well, unfortunate that we, depending on who you look at, whose perspective, but unfortunate that we rattled off 7 after that, I guess.
Karma there?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I think when you're a younger guy and you do that to somebody who's been in the league for that long, maybe that guy's not going to give you one when you need one. That anytime there's a fight now, somebody needs some momentum, and if he needed momentum and asked me and I give it to him, then I expect it back, and I would have obliged if he would have done it there. But you want to point at the scoreboard and then get rattled off for 7, then it's tough luck.
He's absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely right.
Lessons learned. What the hell are you doing, Rose? Well, Ryan Reeves was talking. She took out Scotch tape and taped her mouth shut.
You're supposed to talk as the host of the show. Why are you taping your mouth shut?
I don't have any fails of the week because it's just win-win-win for me. So.
Okay, get out of the studio. I'm done with this. We got Avry Lewis-McDougall of the Hockey News, of Avery Sports Show, and of the Third Intermission podcast. He's going to talk about the Oilers and what's going on in the league coming up next. Get the out of the studio.
What? I'm going to have to bleep that.
Hey friends, Jeremy here, and like a lot of you, I imagine, I'm someone who has multiple jobs, wearing multiple hats, working all sorts of different hours throughout the week, and it can be kind of exhausting. Did you know that sleep is actually one of the most important parts of recovery? Whether you're a pro athlete or you're just looking to crush your day, getting the right kind of rest is key, and that's where Sleep Number smart beds come in. Because since 2018, Sleep Number has partnered with the NFL to help elite athletes get the quality sleep they need to perform at their best. In fact, 80% of NFL players sleep on a Sleep Number smart bed. That's unbelievable. Tough workout? The Sleep Number smart bed can be adjusted to suit your needs. Firmer one night, softer the next, giving you the ultimate recovery boost. And let's talk about those sweaty, sleepless nights. I know they happen a lot here in South Florida. Well, the new Climate Cool Smart Bed adjusts up to 15 degrees cooler on either side with scientifically designed cooling programs to keep you comfortable and undisturbed. Why choose a Sleep Number Smart Bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now save 40% on the new special edition smart beds. Ends Monday. Shop a Sleep Number store near you. Sleep Number, official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Okay, we are joined by Avry Lewis-McDougall. He is the host of Avery's Sports Show and the Third Intermission podcast. He also writes for the Hockey News covering the Edmonton Oilers. And I am going to get started with what happened last week between Connor McDavid and also with Tyler Myers, because they both got suspended for 3 games. Let's show the video of Connor McDavid's cross-check to the face of Conor Garland. This happened during the Oilers Canucks game. And as you can see, Conor Garland was hassling him a little bit. I mean, there was like 3 penalties for Conor Garland there. Holding, and then, there's a cross-check to the face by Connor McDavid, who was then tossed out of the game. And on the other side of the ice, well, not on the other side of the ice, on the for the other team, for the Canucks, Tyler Myers, near the corner, ended up cross-checking Evan Bouchard in the face, much similar to Connor McDavid's cross-check. And, both guys got suspended for 3 games. They'll be back relatively soon. Now, the Edmonton Oilers, and this is just embarrassing. In fact, Ethan thinks this is pretty much a big-time L, as he told me. I
was going to make it our loser of the week, but
yeah.
I wanted to ask Avery about it. So
let's put the press release on the screen for Avery, and I'll read it out loud for audio. The Oilers organization is disappointed, and we share in our fans' frustration over the 3-game suspension of our captain, Connor McDavid. We support him through this process, and the organization and our fans look forward to having him back in the lineup versus Seattle next week. That's embarrassing.
It's a little bit.
That's embarrassing. Avery, you cover the Edmonton Oilers. I don't think you're going to have any bias in this situation. That was clearly a suspendable offense, even though he's most definitely not a 30 player. He was defending himself, but you got to do a better job than that. And the Edmonton Oilers press release. What do you think about what happened in that situation?
Okay, I'll start with the press release first of all, guys. And to me, what did that solve? We all know you're mad. We all know you're mad at the suspension, which, yes, was warranted. You can't cross-check a guy in the face, no matter who you are. No matter if you're Connor McDavid, if you're a third-line guy. You plain and simple cannot do that. It'll be a suspension every single time. But the statement I thought was, you already know you're mad. That was kind of a pointless thing to put out there. I don't understand what you really accomplished with that. And to me personally, gang, with that play, this is more blame to go on the officials. Yeah. They let that final minute of play turn into a gong show. That is on Lewis-McDougall and his crew losing control of that game. And I am so done with Lewis-McDougall and how they call games. Like, call the rule book, call a penalty on Conor Garland, because Conor Garland was right out there trying to sack McDavid like he's Max Crosby. You can't do that. Call a penalty, dude.
Yeah, that just seemed like, as far as Connor McDavid is concerned, that seems like some Sidney Crosby shit.
I think Connor McDavid was really pissed at the end of that play, and rightly so. But I think McDavid may have been trying to draw a penalty because he wasn't really fighting back that much. Look, Conor Garland, 5'10", 170. Connor McDavid, 6'1", 195.
Dave, I don't think they're going to call penalties that late in the game.
No, but I'm saying Connor McDavid is not going to get manhandled by Conor Garland unless he wants to get manhandled by Conor Garland.
So you're saying he was flopping?
Why couldn't Connor McDavid stand up for himself, throw him off? You're clearly got a size and weight advantage there.
You're saying he was flopping?
I'm saying he was, I'm saying he could have thrown him off if he wanted to. He really looked like the submissive as we watched that video over and over again. He looked like he was just taking it from Conor Garland, and then he got pissed off when nothing happened at the end. So that's just my 2 cents.
I was watching this game live, and it had the feel of a playoff game at the end of it. And to me, like, is this something that's getting called in the playoffs when it's a 1-goal game? There's an empty net already, and guys are just out there scrapping, trying to do anything they can to keep the puck away from the star player. Like,
I don't think you're going to see that in the playoffs because, A, McDavid isn't going to let him himself get taken out of a play for 30 seconds with a playoff game on the line. Like, I just don't see that happening in another situation. The more I watch it, the more I'm wondering, why was Connor McDavid not fighting back harder? It really looked like he was just taking it.
Dude, quite frankly, and we've seen this, I don't think they're calling a penalty the entire period in the playoffs, let alone in that last minute situation.
Well, for a cross check to the face out of nowhere, they'll call that. But for all that, dipsy doodling, gripping, clutching, all that, I don't think so. But I also think you got to fight back. Like, Conor Garland wasn't doing all that much. Like, they were literally just sitting there on the ice for a good 5 seconds, barely moving. Like, what are we doing, guys?
Avery, I think you're right. The officiating, at least this season, has been pretty lackluster, and in that situation, it was pretty lackluster as well. I mean, you got to give game misconduct to both McDavid and Tyler Myers, but you pretty much, I think you're pretty much calling for Russ McCauley's firing at this point.
I mean, there's got to be some level of, if not discipline, transparency with the officials in this league. There's got to be a level of, okay, like other leagues have a pool reporter, like in Major League Soccer, like the NBA. Wes McCauley should then talk to a pool reporter and say, hey, this is what I saw. This is why we didn't call penalties on Conor Garland for this, for A, B, C, D. Referees shouldn't be allowed to escape without any scrutiny from the media or the fans after a game. They shouldn't be allowed to. You should be forced to account for why you didn't call for Demolition Derby happening in Vancouver.
So, Avery, I want to move a little bit past our frustrations with what happened against the Edmonton Oilers and Vancouver Canucks. I want to talk to you about the trade deadline that's coming up in less than a month, or just over a month now. I think maybe 5 weeks. It's on March 7th. There's been a lot of talk up in that neighborhood, speaking of Vancouver, of JT Miller, as he's probably on the top of everybody's trade deadline list. You're hearing a lot about Brock Nelson. The goalie market, maybe not as high in demand. I think John Gibson's probably the best one out there. But as we get closer, and as somebody who's up in that neck of the woods, what are you hearing about JT Miller? And just what's your take on the deadline as it's coming up?
So, Sarah JT Miller, sounds like a trade will eventually happen, but it's sounding like the teams that have been mentioned have been teams in the Eastern Conference, in Eastern USA. A possible deal to New York was discussed, the Devils, Carolina. So it sounds like if there's a deal for JT Miller happening, it is going to send him back to the Eastern Conference. I know Elliot Friedman has suggested that he didn't want to be traded to another team in Canada. I'm not sure how true that is, but it does sound more like JT Miller, if and when he does get dealt, it's going to be back to a team in the Eastern Conference, gang.
Avery, I heard a few weeks ago Elliot Friedman report that there's a scenario where one gets traded, none get traded, or both get traded. So it seems like at least one is definitely going to get traded. But what's the possibility that both JT Miller and Elias Pettersson get moved at this deadline?
Right now, it sounds low. It sounds like the move to make is more JT Miller, and I think that's what it should be. Elias Pettersson is younger. There's more upside. There's a brighter future long term if you stick by Pettersson in Vancouver. I mean, yes, JT Miller is a guy who has given the Canucks in the past 90-point seasons, been a solid player. But in terms of if you're looking for the future in 3, 4, 5 years, then you only win by keeping Elias Pettersson. You do not thrive by dealing both Miller and Pettersson. You're kind of restarting things. You're kind of telling people your window to have success or to win is fully closed if you trade both guys, in my mind.
Avery, I want to switch gears and go out east now. I don't know if any of us can answer this question, but I'm just going to put it out into the atmosphere as I talk about it. Has a goalie making the league minimum ever won the Vezina or the Hart? Probably not, right? We got a guy this year who is definitely in that conversation, and his name is Logan Thompson.
When he's not distracted by nachos.
Look, who's not going to get distracted by nachos? I feel for him there. I'd get distracted by nachos if I was in the crease, or any real snack food when you're on the ice, to be honest. Logan Thompson's making $776K this year, which to us is a lot of money. To an NHL guy, not quite as much.
Now it's not quite as much.
Well, for real. This is a guy who I saw him get traded at the draft last year. He was at the Sphere signing autographs as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. And while at the table signing autographs, he gets traded to the Washington Capitals. Now the Capitals are one of the best teams in the league this year. Thompson is certainly in the conversation for the Vezina. Yeah, obviously, Connor Hellebuck's kind of running away with it. But as we saw, Jacob Markstrom got injured. You never know what could happen. But either way, Thompson's having an incredible year. And I just wanted to get your take on such an unique situation where goaltender not thought of as a whole lot heading into this season, obviously not, and really taking the lead over one of the best teams in the East this year.
No, it's a really cool story. When the season began, I didn't really know what Washington's direction was going to be. An older team, wasn't sure what their direction was going to be after missing the playoffs. But to see Logan Thompson coming in, as you mentioned, David, traded at the draft, the funny situation, guy who endeared himself to the Vegas fan base, gets dealt, goes in. It's a really great story of him making the most of his opportunity in Vegas. And you see the Capitals are now the best team in NHL. It looks like a real juggernaut going forward here in January.
Avry, you cover the Oilers, and we've all seen their disappointing start, but they have now scratched and clawed their way to a point out of the Pacific Division lead. Was there a switch that got flipped? What happened there?
I would say, honestly, it was a matter of guys not named McDavid and Draisatil stepping up as well, too. But also Leon. Leon is a guy who is leading the league in goals. He's probably going to hit the 60-goal barrier for the first time. But it's been more than just him and McDavid stepping up. You've been getting production from, again, guys like Zach Hyman. You've been getting scoring from the back end. This is a team that after many, many years, people are always wondering where the Oilers are. When is the production going to come up from guys beyond those two players? And they're finally getting it now from other guys, like you mentioned, like Hyman. And the game we won last night, you got goals from guys like Kasperi Kapanen. You're seeing role players stepping up more and more. So Edmonton finding ways to be a well-balanced team is a major factor in this team being 1 point out of the division lead.
As somebody who's been covering the league for a while, Avry, I wanted to get your opinion on something that I read in The Athletic. I don't know if it was yesterday, maybe it was this morning. It's hard to keep track. Apparently, communal hangouts and drinking is down in the NHL, and gaming and THC gummies are up in the NHL. And this may be a sign of the times, but I can remember as like a teenager going after Panthers games across the street to the Wolfgang Puck restaurant and like following, like I think Lance Pitlick, I got his autograph in the bathroom once. Like it was just the coolest thing because you had access to the players as they were out hanging out. Now we don't have that anymore. And it was just kind of saddening to me. And as somebody who's covered the league for a while, I just wanted to get your take on whether you think this is kind of the sign of the times now.
I think it is. You're seeing players now, in large part, taking care of their bodies more. They're not going to those vices like alcohol as much. And gaming is really the thing that bonds a lot of players together now, especially the younger players. And I saw it myself. I started covering hockey at the WHL level at 16 years old, and I covered my first NHL game at 18. So I relate to a lot of guys who were in that category, who were gamers. I was really the first generation of guys who were diehard gamers, be it NHL, FIFA, Madden, Fortnite, Call of Duty. And that's really their thing now, is not going out in large part drinking. It's more, gaming. And again, you mentioned THC, cannabis use. I think the times are changing. I think it's for the better in my mind, really.
Before we close this out really quickly, and I might even add another Ola to this situation for the Hart Trophy this year, McKinnon, McDavid, or Draisatil?
Someone else.
That's not the question I wanted to ask him.
I gotta ask.
This is the question. This is the question I wanted to ask. Avry, I've got a take recently. Yes. You get to watch Connor McDavid every night. You're very lucky. It's harder for us to watch him every night over here.
No direct flights.
I watch Nathan MacKinnon and I say, is that guy really that like? Is McDavid
best player in the
really on
the
a
league.
different level? So best player in the league.
Okay.
McDavid or MacKinnon?
Ooh, that's for me to answer? Oh, man, I still think it's Connor McDavid. I still think it's Connor McDavid because when he's not scoring, he's probably one of the best playmakers in the NHL. He finds ways to be effective when he's not scoring. He's the kind of guy who can go out there and say, oh, you know what? I may not be able to have a 40-goal year. I'm going to have 100 assists. Like, he is still a guy who can think the game better than 99.9% of the league. And Nathan MacKinnon is a beast as well, too. That's a guy who, in 15 years, will be in the Hall of Fame in Toronto. But I might be a little bit biased still, but I am still going to go Connor McDavid in my mind over Nathan MacKinnon.
I'm going to take his hesitation. I'm going to take his hesitation as a win because the fact that he had to even think about it means we're getting to a point where I'm not crazy for thinking that MacKinnon might be better.
No, you're just crazy.
I think we're seeing the bias, though, because to your point, Avry, Connor McDavid right now, 20 goals, 45 assists. Nathan MacKinnon, 19 goals, 56 assists. So who's the playmaker now?
By the way, Draisatil has 35 goals already. It's crazy.
Well, yeah.
And 74 points.
Get off
one
my
behind
plane.
MacKinnon.
They got some good players in Edmonton.
Hey, this is not the Dan Le Batard show. Why are we playing that sound?
Just Because Rose is producing now.
Rose is pushing
Rose
buttons. This is why we can't
today.
trust Rose in the big chair.
Rose is she's taking over today, but for better or worse.
Right. Stewardess over here. Avery Lewis-McDougall. Oh, my God. Avery Sports Show and the Third Intermission Podcast, and he covers the Oilers for the Hockey Show. Avery, thank you.
No, pleasure, gang. Anytime. It was a blast.
And we apologize for Rose.
Yes, we apologize for Rose. What the man?
Get off my planet.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes, Mike?
Have you ever had a fireside conversation during a football Sunday during the winter?
Sure. We don't have a lot of fireplaces down here, but I've had the premise of it.
I wish I could, but it's South Florida. When it gets down to the 60s, we're like, we're bundled up, but certainly no fireplaces. Still too warm for that. But we do have our football Sundays. And one thing that always makes football Sundays good, and I know you've had plenty of experience in your life with this, Miller time.
Oh, yeah.
Miller Lite makes the winter better. It makes football Sundays better. It makes even hanging out around you better.
Thanks, Mike. That was kind.
I appreciate that. You're my friend. When I have a Miller Lite in my hand, pretty much everybody is my friend because we are like-minded. Because we like beer that actually tastes like beer. Oh, and now, the new year, it's the perfect time to have a Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. People out there, I want you to listen to me. And Jeremy, you too. Because you know, it hits just different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975, and still the very best one. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
If you're a pet parent like me, you know about Chewy. When they say they have everything you need to keep your pet healthy and happy, they're not messing around. Oh, look at this good boy and good girl over here taking an early morning siesta after their breakfast with the food we got from Chewy. Hassle-free, with auto-ship. To keep Dopey happy, Chewy offers over 100,000 products from brands my pets love. At prices I love too. Foods, treats, toys, beds, you name it, they've got it. To keep Izzy healthy, Chewy's got me covered with pet prescriptions, insurance, telehealth vet visits, and even vet clinics rolling out nationwide. My favorite feature? Auto ship. I never run out of essentials like food or litter. And I can update or cancel anytime, so no guilt trips from Dopey or Izzy. And everything ships right to your door in just 1 to 2 days. Oh, and Chewy isn't just for dogs and cats. They've got birds, fish, reptiles, and more covered too. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/Dan. That's chewy.com/Dan to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/DAN. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
Okay, it's time to review what happened this week with the Florida Panthers. And what happened with the Florida Panthers is they went above 500.
They did. They won twice against the same team.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
That is what happened.
It started at home against the Anaheim Ducks. First half of a home-and-home series against them. Spencer Knight had 34 saves, got his 9th win in his second shutout of the season. He played very well, except in this situation, Sam Reinhart got himself into a bit of trouble. Very uncharacteristic hit by him. He ended up banging knees with Isaac Lidderstrom and got a knee major in a game misconduct. That was pretty surprising. That's something that he doesn't usually do.
No, I don't think if you watch the replay that there was any kind of like ill will or intent there. I think it was a funky angled hit because they were going into the corner. Reinhart was coming from up the ice. Lundestrom was coming from behind the net, and the way that he moved like right at the last second. So it was just a funky play. The penalty was deserved. It happened. It should have been like that. But I don't think I think nothing supplemental from the league was right because it's Sam Reinhart. He has zero reputation for that kind of thing.
Yeah. So his night ended in 16 minutes. So that was it for him. But the Panthers ended up winning 3-0. The Ducks ended their 6-game road trip, losing 3 straight, going 1-4-1. They are not having a good season.
No, it's rough for a few teams. Like it's funny because so many teams right now are in the playoff race, whether it's in the East or the West. But the bottom of the Western standings, it's getting a little murky down there between. I mean, the Sharks and the Blackhawks, but you got Nashville, you got Anaheim, Seattle. Are they going to get their stuff together? Utah is trying to figure out if they're going to be a playoff team or if they're going to be what. But it's not quite as compact as the East right now.
As you mentioned, no retribution for Sam Reinhart from the league, or no punishment from the league, and no retribution from the players because they know better.
No, it's Sam Reinhart. He's not a guy that's out there headhunting. He's not a guy that's a big hit guy. He's not like a Barkov.
Yeah. And we're talking about the second game of this home and home as the Panthers went to Anaheim. They won 5-2. And maybe they should have some retribution because he ended up scoring in this game.
It was a little concerning at first as the Panthers took a couple penalties. They gave up the power play goal to fall behind, which are things that they've been trying to avoid. But they snapped into form rather quickly. It was Reinhart that actually got the first goal of the game for Florida to get things moving. And They kind of did well in Anaheim. 5 goals was strong. It was a tighter game, I think, than the score would allude to. But overall, when you beat the same team twice in a row by a 8-2 combined score, and one in each building, it kind of shows how Florida is used to the travel. They've had some playoff success, so I took that as a good sign heading into the trip.
Sergei Bobrovsky with 28 saves, and Connor McDavid absolutely loves playing against the Anaheim Ducks because he had a goal and assist in this one, and now has a point in 10 straight games against Anaheim.
Nice.
You missed the biggest storyline from this one for me, Roy, and it's Sam Bennett get back on the score sheet.
Yes, that was huge.
He hadn't scored in 21 straight games, and they really needed him to start getting scoring again because their scoring has been too concentrated. If Reinhart's not scoring, Boquist has been the guy that's been stepping up, or even some of the guys down the order. But they really need guys like Bennett, Barkey, Chucky start putting the puck in the net again. And Chucky, Barkey, and Rhino have been great on the first line together, but they really needed to get Sam Bennett going. So seeing him see one go in, I think will be huge for his confidence and could get him back in his scoring ways.
And we know he can score because he had 8 goals in the first 11 games of the season. We know that the guy can put the puck in the net. So him getting that one, hopefully that'll get him going again for Florida because they could use a little offense on that line. That line, by the way, with Bennett and Luosterainen and Samoskevich.
We need to talk about Samoskevich.
It's been fun to watch. And what I've really liked about Mackie Samoskevich,
he's a player, dude.
It's not the scoring. His defensive play has gotten so good. He's taking the puck away in the neutral zone. He's back-checking like a beast. He's really rounding out well. I'm excited for what this kid can do. And he has
an element that something I feel like the Panthers kind of miss from the rest of maybe the elite teams like Colorado, at Edmonton. They don't have as many guys that could just kind of fly up the ice. Mackey brings this speed dimension to the second line that feels like the Panthers are missing sometimes. The way he gets the puck going up ice anytime, and Bennett says he's been mentoring him. He loves playing with him. So that line, Pomo, he shook up all the lines. Erod's been great on the fourth line. He scored twice recently. The third line has been good with Verhaeghe down there, and Boquist has been a great scoring threat for the Panthers. So I like the way the lines are playing right now for the Panthers, and I actually think they've got something going with them.
Putting those lines in a blender because for the majority of the season, we've seen on the second line Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk and flip-flopping of the other wing. Now we're seeing this combination of lines and obviously dealing with an injury, but hopefully, because they are – this has been a tough stretch for them. Hopefully we'll see them actually play well with what we're seeing right now on the ice.
Yeah, it's what Paul Maurice has not done much of in his 2+ years as a coach is play Sasha Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk, together consistently. It's something that they'll go to late in games if they need to, but now we're seeing it for 7 or 8 games at this point.
And they've been overpowering.
They're starting
Chucky,
to really click.
Rhino and Barkey. I think it was the Rhino goal against Anaheim. The play where Barkey makes an interception, dishes it off to Tkachuk. Tkachuk finds Reinhart down low. Reinhart finishes. That line, the way they control the puck, the way they control the play, that's something that needs to stick together because it's just throw your 3 best players out there. McDavid and Draisatil out there together all the time.
Yeah, but I like that they have kind of the options. I wouldn't want to play that consistently throughout because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. I like the idea of spreading the wealth when you have a team that's deep enough to do it. But I do like that they're doing it now for the time being, get them acclimated to one each other so that way when you do go to this, whether it's in the playoffs or down the stretch, they're that much better at it. They're that much more familiar.
Yeah, all right. So we saw Connor Verhaeghe and we saw Sam Bennett score. And both of these players have been in slumps. And finally, hopefully, they'll be consistently playing well from here on out. But unfortunately, the entire team did not play well Wednesday at the Los Angeles Kings. That was an emotional game for the city of Los Angeles. We see the Kings are going to do a benefit hockey game with celebrities and alumni to benefit the firefighters and everybody out there affected with the fires out there on the left coast. The Panthers had a 1-0 lead going into the third period. Now, normally, shut down city when the Panthers have a lead in the third period. That's not what happened here. They gave up the lead in the third period, and it started with Spencer Knight diving for a puck to try to cover and completely failing.
Yeah.
And Samuel Helenius got his first career goal. Good for him. Congratulations to him. Adrian Kempe with the game winner. And the Panthers are now 18-2-0 when leading after 2 periods.
It's a big 2 because that was, as you said, Shutdown City was like their bread and butter. So to see those struggles, but again, midway through the season, if you're going to have it happening, this is kind of the time to do it because this is when you're going to work through your kinks or whatever. But yeah, a little bit concerning considering that's been an area that they've been so good for a while now.
Yeah, and they also scored first in this game. It's the 6th loss in 26 games which they scored first. 6 losses in 26 games in which they scored first. I think it's the back-to-back games that's getting to them.
Yeah, well, now they're 5-2 on the second end of back-to-backs after that loss to the Kings, and there have been a lot of games this year. I don't have the number in front of me, but where they haven't scored first and they've been able to come back and win the game.
Yeah,
I think what my takeaway from this week is so far is Spencer Knight is rounding into form that I love. This kid is playing lights out since I guess since the start of the year. 4 starts, 3-1, 5 appearances, but his goals against is 1.12 and his save percentage is .960. That's like elite numbers. And granted, it's small sample size, but this is Spencer Knight. This is what we've kind of expected him to become. So if this is him kind of getting on that runway, I'm very excited for what the future could bring.
Save percentage on the season up to .907. I just saw on ESPN in the stats department. But going back to the third period lead stuff, you're talking about how it's concerning. You're talking about 18-2 or whatever it is, 5-2 on the second end of back-to-backs. Like, it's concerning. We're nitpicking here. You know what I mean? We know the Panthers are really good. We know they're going to turn it on in playoff time, and we're just kind of nitpicking. And it's concerning because it doesn't happen to the Panthers very often. But when you take a step back and you look at it, and sometimes you're going to lose when you have a lead going into the third period. You're not always going to win. Like, sometimes it goes to overtime, whatever. Obviously, you want those regulation losses to be limited when you have a lead going into the third period. But I thought the Panthers in that Kings game at the start of the game looked like a team on the back-to-back. And then I fell asleep, to be honest with you. But waking up and seeing what happened, clearly that back-to-back got to them because they just kind of ran out of gas. So, Vegas coming up on Saturday and then San Jose, I think, before coming home.
No, that's flipped.
Flipped the other way around.
Yeah.
Sorry, San
Vegas
Jose on
first.
Saturday and then Vegas.
San Jose's first?
Vegas to close out the trip on Sunday. Another back-to-back. Am I right, Roy?
Yes, it is another back-to-back. I mean, no, too many back-to-backs, man. Now, the Panthers are playing the worst team in the league, San Jose Sharks, before sliding into Las Vegas to play the Vegas Golden Knights. The Sharks are coming off, as you said, blowing a 5-1 lead to lose 7-5 against the Nashville Predators. So that tells you what type of season that San Jose is having. But they're having fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm hoping that we get to see Yaroslav Askarov in goal when Florida plays San Jose, just because he's one of my favorite young goalies to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a rough season for the Sharks. Better than last year. And Macklin Celebrini has been a lot of fun to watch. He's a really good player. He's a great two-way player. They're hopefully getting their stuff together.
They're a bad, fun team. They're really fun to watch. They play like an up-style hockey, and Celebrini's great.
Did the Panthers ever have a bad fun team, or were they just bad?
No.
They were just bad, right?
It's just bad. Yeah. Don't make me.
I'm sorry.
Don't make me remember these things, man. Like, we just won a Stanley Cup. Well, I say we. I'm an unbiased journalist, even though I'm not a journalist at all. I don't have a degree in journalism. But I am very much supposed to be an unbiased professional. And, I'm not supposed to say we in this situation, but we won a Stanley Cup last season. So that's that. Rose?
We were on the ice with the Stanley Cup, as Ethan loves to remind us.
Yes!
Yeah.
Thank you for finally embracing that. Thank you, guys.
I've not shied away from it. I've just not.
I've been on the ice for Stanley Cup celebrations 3 times already. All right?
Rose.
Okay.
Rose.
So beautiful.
Uka Pekka Luukkonen.
We all agree Barkey is beautiful. This was 2 minutes in the Panther then. It went to 10 minutes more. So we just want to say thank you for listening to us. And David, do you want to say thank you?
Who am I thanking?
I don't know.
Thank you to whoever to you, the listener, the viewer. Thank you for not turning the show off when you saw Rose in the main chair today. Thank you for riding it out with us as we go through this trial period. And
trial play? What?
And sorry, Roy.
This is not happening again.
Thank you to Roy for his patience as we navigate this situation.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Rose, say Ukapeka
Upakakalagwiliki.
This is never happening again.
Folks, the playoff season is here, and the only thing better than the game day predictions are the foods that come with them. Introducing Tums Fantasy Foodball Pool, brought to you by Tums, America's #1 antacid brand, and DraftKings. Each week leading up to the big game, turn football into foodball by building your best game day plate for a shot at winning a share of $40,000 in cash prizes. Inspired by game day bites and tailgate treats, join the Tums Foodball action during this playoff season's most heartburn-inducing times. Visit DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball between January 6th and February 9th to enter for free and select your game day plate before the start of each playoff round. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball. When you feel the heat of the game, don't let the heartburn keep you on the sidelines. Try Tums Chewy Bites with a tasty outer shell and soft center for fast relief of heartburn, acid indigestion, and upset stomach. Check out Tums Gummy Bites, featuring a soft and easy-to-chew format for fast relief of occasional heartburn, acid indigestion, sour stomach, and upset stomach. Both available at Amazon, Target, and other major retailers nationwide. And for more heartburn relief fun, be sure to follow Tums at Tums Official on Instagram and TikTok.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes, Mike?
Have you ever had a fireside conversation during a football Sunday during the winter?
Sure. We don't have a lot of fireplaces down here, but I've had the premise of it.
I wish I could, but it's South Florida. When it gets down to the 60s, we're like, we're bundled up, but certainly no fireplaces. Still too warm for that. But we do have our football Sundays. And one thing that always makes football Sundays good, and I know you've had plenty of experience in your life with this, Miller time.
Oh, yeah.
Miller Lite makes the winter better. It makes football Sundays better. It makes even hanging out around you better.
Thanks, Mike. That was kind.
I appreciate that. You're my friend. When I have a Miller Lite in my hand, pretty much everybody is my friend because we are like-minded. Because we like beer that actually tastes like beer. Oh, and now, the new year, it's the perfect time to have a Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. People out there, I want you to listen to me. And Jeremy, you too. Because you know, it hits just different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975, and still the very best one. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.